Hello dear students, welcome back to the YouTube channel of NIRS of class 7 science. Dear students, in the previous class I was discussing about the one of the important concept of the lesson, reproduction in plants, that is fertilization. So as we discussed in the previous class, what is zygote? So the fusion of male and female gamete is called zygote, and the process of fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote is called fertilization. But a zygote is nothing but the cell which is formed after the fusion of male both the gametes is called zygote, and the whole process of formation of zygote is called fertilization. Later on that zygote develops into an embryo. Okay, so far we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, in today's class let us discuss the last part of this lesson, that is how the seeds and fruits are formed, okay, by this zygote which develops into an embryo, and later on how the dispersal of seeds takes place. Okay, so this concept let us cover in this today's class. Okay, first let us understand the fruits and seed formation. Okay, so after the fertilization is over, so as soon as the fertilization process is over, so there is one more important concept takes place, that is the ovary grows into an fruit. Okay, so the whatever the ovary it is present, okay, so that ovary which is present inside the female part of the flower, so that the ovary grows into a fruit, that ovary becomes a fruit, and other parts of that flower they just fall off, remaining all parts of the flower they just fall down. Okay, so only the ovary grows into and form a fruit. Okay, you have to remember, so which part of the plant grows in flower grows into a fruit, if the such question is asked, you need to answer that is ovary part of the plant grows into a fruit. Okay, you have to remember this concept. Okay, so the fruit is the ripened ovary. So what is fruit? The fruit is the ripened ovary. So ovary became ripened, so that is the ripened ovary, is nothing but fruit. Okay, so the seeds developed from ovules. Whatever the seeds are formed, no, they are developed from the ovules. So those whatever the ovules present in the ovary, so those ovules are going to help for the production of seeds. Okay, so seeds are formed from the ovules. Okay, the seed contains an embryo enclosed in a protective seed coat. Okay, so the seed contains what? An embryo. So inside the seed what is present? That zygote which is develops into embryo, no? So the seed contains that embryo. Okay, so that embryo enclosed in a protective seed coat. So that embryo is enclosed in a protective coat. Okay, so here you can see the protective coat. Seed is enclosed by a protective coat, seed coat. So some fruits are fleshy and juicy. Some of the fruits are fleshy and juicy, means very smooth and filled with the juice, such as mango, apple, orange, chiku. Okay, so most of the grapes. So these are all most of the fruits that we eat. So they are all of them, most of them are fleshy and juicy. They are very smooth and they are having a juicy part in them. So whereas some fruits are very hard. Okay, very hard they are, like such as almonds and walnuts. So here you can see 12.a figure, that is the section of an apple. This is a fleshy and juicy, it is very juicy fruit it is. Okay, whereas this almond seed, it's a hard seed. Okay, it's a hard seed. Okay, so now let's move on for the next concept, that is the process of dispersal of seeds. So in nature, same kind of plants grow at different place. Same kind of plants, they grow in different kinds of places. Okay, but this happens because so seeds are dispersed to different places. Why these different kinds of plants are grown at different places? How do those plants grow in such so far away places? This is because this happens because due to the dispersion of it happens due to the seeds are dispersed to different places. So seeds are going to be dispersed in different places. Okay, so sometimes after a walk through a forest or a field or a park, okay, sometimes what happens, whenever you go for a walk in a forest, nearby forest, or a field near your home in the morning, near your field where you go for a morning for getting fresh air, and maybe a park, if you go to these places, okay, for a walk, you will have found that seeds or sometimes hardly fruits, but most of the time seeds, they are sticking to your clothes. We see that some types of hard seeds with a like no pointed part on them, so they are found to be sticking to your clothes, they are stick to your clothes. So what are they? You need to understand what are they. Yes, so we have to observe the seeds which are clinging to your clothes. Okay, so what do you think what happened if all seeds of the plant were to fall at the same place and grow there only? Suppose you imagine if all the seeds of a plant fall down at the same place just below the tree, and if they grow, what happens there? So automatically all plants they get young plant, they grow as a young plant, again they grow in a group. Okay, so there would be severe competition for the sunlight, water, minerals and space. If the plant seeds are fallen at the same place just below the tree, then there will be a competition for those plants for getting the sunlight, for in order to get the water, minerals, and even the space to grow. There will be no space because they are just falling just without any distance. As a result, what happens? The seeds would not grow into healthy plants. That's why whatever the seed which is fallen in that place would not grow into a healthy plant. Okay, so plants benefit by seed dispersal. So plants benefit by seed dispersal. If the seed is dispersed to distant places, they get the benefit because they can have a very more space and they can grow very healthy. Okay, so that's why they get benefit if the seeds are dispersed. So it prevents the competition between the plant, isn't it? Yes, for growing in order to get the nutrients, minerals and all, and its own seedlings for sunlight, water and minerals, for getting the sunlight, for getting the water and minerals. Okay, so there will be no competition for them. Okay, so its own seedlings they may compete for the sunlight, water and even for minerals. So that problem they may face. So it enables the plants to invade new habitats for wider distribution. If any kinds of new habitats are there, so that it can be made to grow well. Okay, so seeds and fruits of the plants are carried away. See, these seeds and fruits of the plant, they are carried away by different sources, by wind. Sometimes they are dispersed by wind. Okay, sometimes by water, and sometimes by mm, animals. See, wind, when the wind blows, the seeds are dispersed to longer distances along with the air. Okay, when the seeds are see, when the water flows along with that, these seeds also carried to distant places. And even animals, so when the animals are traveling from one place to another place, the seeds which are clinging to their bodies, they fall down in some other place when their body is washed or somewhere, they when they rub it, so automatically their new plants grow. So winged seeds such as those of drumstick and maple. So there are some seeds which are having a wing. Okay, such as a drumstick. Okay, here you can look at the diagram 12.13a and 12.13b. So these are the examples for the seed of drumstick and maple. Okay, so